like grab a book. What interests you? You know, do you want to go keto? Do you want to do nutritarian? We can talk about those principles and what makes them wonderful. And I need to do the, so Joe's here. Why am I not seeing her?
Raise it up a little bit. Okay, yeah, pause that.
There we go. There you are. You look fine.
Oh, thank you.
We're so hard on ourselves, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to boot camp, boot campers. We're here in day 2. I want to make sure Erica is here. Erica, you there?
I am now. I'm having audio. I'm having audio issues today.
It's okay. I think I forgot to unmute you. That was probably my issue. Sorry. All right. Are we ready to rock and roll?
Okay.
Gabby's here. Let me get her in. Hi, Gabby.
Hi. Going to that thing with no picture of me again. I'm not sure.
I can't see you.
I got it. I've got it on my end. The video should be working, but I can.
Okay.
For some reason, it wants to go back and default my video settings.
Got it. And I can't see Erica. I can only imagine what she looks like.
Hopefully I'll get it fixed before the end of our meeting.
Yeah, I don't know. It just does this hit and miss. So you'll have to just listen to me for a moment, and I'll be listening to you, and I'll see if it.
All right, no problem. As long as you're here, I'm happy about that. It's always lovely to see you.
Cool.
All right. Well,
So,
let's see.
And if we post any links, I'll open the chat window and just drop them in there. So
Right.
So we'll see if Kathy's going to show up, and
meantime,
then we will get started.
a little ground. We're gonna do ground.
Yep, we're going to do a little bit of a grounding. So, yeah. So why don't you folks just take a nice deep breath. Get right down deep into your belly. Get your feet on the floor. Slow in, bullshit out, right? Just be here. Release the stresses of your day. Lord knows we've got plenty of those, right? And just check in with yourself. Check in with your body. See if there's anything that you feel in a certain place, or just say hello. Just kind of put your hand in that spot. Be here. Feel the seat underneath you. Just kind of really just sit in that seat. Some more deep breaths. Just come right into yourself, into your body. When you feel like you are here, you can open your eyes. And we'll get started. How are you doing, peeps?
Good.
Good.
Anybody want to share a moment of their day or anything? Anybody having stress, fatigue? I'm tired today. I've been tired today. How are you all doing?
I'm having a manic day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like just charging all over my house, doing all kinds of things. I've got my cordless drill charging and stuff staged for after class.
Good. So we have Laura joining us today. Laura, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hey,
So,
Laura.
Laura, would you like to do a quick check-in? Just kind of say your name, what you're doing here in boot camp, what you're hoping to get out of it. This is what we did yesterday. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I watched yesterday's video. It was very inspiring, and I liked a lot of things that had been said. I especially liked the thought-provoking comment about looking at your joy through a lens of limitation, which is really thought-provoking. And I originally thought I was joining boot camp because I was concerned about a potential surgery, but I sort of like climbed that mountain and I feel serene about it. So I'm still in the unknown about a lot of things, but I feel like I'm in a good place. So I guess the fear that you all talked about today made me think about, well, if I do end up having surgery, I'm a little bit afraid that I'm so unfit that it wouldn't be an easy thing for me. So I want to get fit either way, whether I have the surgery or not. I feel like I've been caregiving for a lot of people in my life, and it's time to caregive for myself.
Right.
Yeah. Wow, that was very clear. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Laura. Welcome. So, did you manage to get the did you manage to get to the questionnaire? Did you do that?
I did,
Awesome.
and I started recording the food, and I did some exercise yesterday, and then I'm going to do some today. I've got scheduled, so I'm on board.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So today, guys, we are going to begin looking more deeply and more specifically at our mountains. Okay, so yesterday we did kind of like a general blast. We had some discussion about what those mountains could be. And today we're going to just like crack that nut right open and get right to the heart of it. Figure out what our mountains are so that they are specifical, how do you like that for a word? So that they are specific and that we can look at them from a measurable goal standpoint. That makes sense to you?
Oh, I thought you created specifical because they were specific and magic.
I like that, Laura. We just created a new word, and I'm adding that one to my backpack of vocab.
Yeah.
It's magically specific, yes.
Yes, of course.
So, when we think of a mountain, obviously you think of like a physical mountain. Like right now, I'm wearing my I don't know if you can see this, my Jackson. Like I climbed Mount, the Grand Teton sweatshirt. So there's that like physical mountain, and then a mountain is also figurative or symbolic. Like this can represent anything in our lives that is very challenging. I think we pretty much talked about that yesterday. And is everyone clear on that? Like your mountain doesn't have to be an actual mountain.
Got it.
Yeah.
We'd like it to be. Like, we'd really like to take you up Mount Washington in August. But if that's not something that feels like your kind of mountain, that doesn't mean that you can't do this. Like everyone still has their own mountains to climb, whatever that is. It can be like, geez, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to be able to run 5 miles, whatever that is, that's a big deal for you. That's your mountain. So now today we are going to get right down to what that is. But what we're going to do first is we'd like to get you folks to kind of revisit what sparks your joy. So does everybody have that information with them that's accessible? Mm-hmm. You have the little questionnaires where you kind of identified your spark joy?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So, good. So when you were, yesterday when we talked about, as Laura mentioned, the looking at what is joyful to you through kind of a limited filter, like looking at it through maybe your fear or your limitations, we want to just kind of call that out today and look at your spark joy very clearly and maybe even tweak it a little bit. So if you have those in front of you, we want you to look them over and we'd like you to condense them into categories. Okay, we want to have you condense those into categories, and I'm going to show you my spark joy just so you have an idea of what we did. I color coded mine. I'm a very visual person, I can't help it. So I did mine in color.
Go into share
yeah.
First.
Oh yeah, I got to go into the share first, of course.
Oh, I met Kathy too.
Oh, Kathy.
There you are. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Hold on, let me unmute you. Where's her?
She's loading up.
Okay. We've got Kathy on board here. Hi, Kathy.
No, it's just, she just hasn't loaded up. She's connecting
Okay.
still. But in the meantime,
Look at me, I'm learning the new technology.
all right. Can you hear us, Kathy?
I don't know why I can't hear her.
She have her,
All right, let me text. I'll chat
Okay,
with her.
all right.
Continue
Yeah.
on your
We're going to
stuff.
continue on. So, Kathy, if you can hear me, we are looking at our Spark Joy today, and we're going to be condensing them into categories. And
I can see Kathy.
I can see Kathy, but I can't hear Kathy.
Yeah, climb back up there. There we go.
I don't know where
You know, I mean, if you hover over that, you should get your,
I know.
so,
Hold on a second here, people.
it just, it needs to go up higher, your window, so you can see that bottom flip. All right, that should work.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, here comes the Spark Joy. There we go. Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So obviously there's a lot of stuff that brings me joy here, but I've condensed these into categories, and each of these categories represents like a big picture thing. For instance, I have my playing music, and then there's the singing and engaging with audiences and composing songs and things like that. Then there's like more of like my dreamy self, like dreaming big and thinking outside the box, inspiring. And then I've got other stuff here. I'm a nature freak, so I get into like creating beauty in my home and things like that. And then there's the health and wellness thing, which gets us into the exercise and the nutrition and the relaxation and releasing anxiety. So each of these things, like I just did a big blast, and then I put them into categories that make sense to me, where we can see the relationship between those things. And this is what I'm hoping or asking for you folks to do right now. So you don't have to have a million things like I do, but if you've got a number of things, take a couple of minutes, see if you can't find the connection between those things and kind of file them under certain categories. Is that clear?
Fine.
Okay. There you are, I can hear you.
I like your color coding. I color code things like that a lot.
I use black and white myself.
So take a minute or two and just do that right now, if you don't mind. Take a couple minutes and do that.
It's all kinds of different screen views you can get. Finding these.
I can probably stop that shit.
Yeah, so just ask them if they're all set.
Okay.
You have them share. Okay.
By the way, this is Selena will know this. This is a chunking exercise, right? Where we're kind of taking a large thing and breaking it down into bite-sized chunks.
So you use color coding. I use symbols.
Okay.
You know, circles, dashes, crosses, hearts, things like that. That's a That way
Sword.
I don't have to move stuff around. Sword. Right.
Just let us know when you feel like you're kind of done.
I'm good.
Was that you, Selena?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've.
Okay, Gabby.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm at work, and so it's kind of, I'm just trying to
Okay.
kind of listen in here.
Okay. That's fine. This isn't something that you have to do right now. You know, if you've got other stuff in your field right now, that's all right. This is something that you can do later on when you're in a quiet time.
Yeah.
And you'll get where we're going with this in a minute. As soon as everyone's done, we'll have a little bit of a sharing of that. Love to hear what sparks your joy. And
You're pretty clear about this. I think I've taken the
am,
time
yeah,
to
it's
read.
like, you know, we have this vision about this, and what we're basically sharing with you is what we've done for ourselves, you know, because, you know, we're carrying around so much stuff all the time, and it gets muddy. Like what really is in our souls as this really enjoyment, love, beautiful joy stuff. Sometimes it just gets muddied up by all the stuff that happens in your day in your life.
All right, and these become processes that we often will need to repeat through as our daily lives just kind of fill us up and distract us from our real goals and what we want to do. So it's good to have this in your arsenal to be able to just kind of step back and go, all right, I want to do this and just see where I'm going if I'm still on track.
Yeah. You need to connect with what makes you so happy, you know, whatever that is.
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. And basically, yeah. What all that really matters when it comes to your mountain is what your joy is. We're going to be doing an exercise that connects your joy to the mountain. So most of us will look at a mountain and think, oh my God, daunting, difficult, hard, maybe impossible. Is that a dog?
A duck.
Am I hearing a puppy?
Kathy's back. Can't hear Kathy again for some reason or something.
Okay. So what we'd like you to do, first of all, we want you to share your joy with us. Who wants to go first? I want to hear what floats your boat, people.
Well, I'll start. I have a lot of joy, actually. So exactly, what do you want to know? Like my best joy?
I want to hear some of your joys.
Oh.
Start with your top like 5.
I started with music. Family. Sex. Nature. Dancing, you know. Those are like in the top 10.
Wow, okay. Awesome. And you see connections between those things?
Some of them, well, yeah, I can categorize them. And
All right.
with my whole list, which is much more extensive, but monosyllabic, unlike yours. You know, so yes, I do. I see connections. I see the most connections are with family, with nature, and with music or art in general.
All right. So like art.
Right.
Yeah.
/ music.
Artistic endeavors.
Nature.
Yeah.
And family.
Right.
Awesome.
Mm.
All right. How about someone else who wants to share their joys?
I'm going to kind of come along and say ditto to a lot of the things that you said, Selena, this Gabby, because I realized I'd color coded them, which was great to group it like that. And I'm like, wow, a lot of what I have that sparks joy by the code is true friends, good relationships I've built over the years with my, you know, my young adult children. But and then of course I have the nature connection, which I know that is coming back into my life. I have the opportunity to get out more. I think one of the things that I had another category that I just had basically a clean kitchen and a warm bed to sleep in. I've done a lot of work with people who are unhoused, and sometimes you just have to live and see that in your face every day to go, wow, I have, we have a small apartment, but it's functional, and coming down in the morning to make a cup of coffee and having a warm bed to sleep in is just, sometimes I just look at these people and I think, God, I'm so lucky and I'm so happy to have this little nest. So, and from that nest, that's the foundation for me for the other section, which is the creativity, creating art in some form. I've been working on Photoshop this week for the first time in years, and it's frustrating, but at the same time, I finally sit back and go, wow, look what I did. Music, singing. I'm just finding that, and somebody else said this earlier, that it is imperative for me to put myself and those needs at the top of the to-do list. And that's not what's happened for so many years. It's really a huge habit change. That's a mountain to climb, is to just keep flipping the list and saying, no, you need to do this stuff that you needed to do before you need to go rescue your daughter who didn't forget to remember to mail her thing that she'd like for you to just go over and, blah, blah, blah. That kind of, we all know we have those kind of things. Even when we are around people who are pretty functional, if you've been the person people depend on, they like to keep coming back to you, and you just got to turn the phone off and say, sorry. Yeah.
Put your own mask on first, right?
Yep. Very much so. So I don't know if that answered the question, but yes,
yeah, that's pretty clear.
I have. This
Cool.
has helped a lot.
Who wants to go next? Laura, I have you muted right now because I think your mic or something has been kind of noisy, but I just unmuted you.
That's okay.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Yeah, I think my fan has a problem and it makes this humming sound. So sorry about that. While you've got me unmuted, I'll go ahead. I didn't go into as much detail as Lisa did. But I kind of have categories from what I did do, and I think if I had to pick you said top 3 or top 5?
Stop share.
Creating, playing, nature, healing, magic, and meditation. I guess that would be another one. But I have a bunch more written down, but I think you just wanted the major topics, right?
Yeah, your basic ones, yes.
Okay. So that would be creating, playing, nature, healing, magic, and meditation.
Nice.
Wonderful. Anybody else want to go? Erica, you have anything you'd like to share?
My list is pretty eclectic, but
Excellent.
at a glance, I can narrow it down topic-wise
There you
to
go.
music, food, play, spirituality, and love.
Oh,
Those are the things
excellent.
that spark my joy.
Excellent.
Good deal.
Kathy, how
I
you
hate
doing
that
over
food's
there?
on my list, though.
I think, yeah, I think, my family and grandchildren are one of the top ones, and of course, dancing, music, nature, those all are important to me. Spirituality, I guess, meditation and yoga, I really pull it all together for me. So,
That's
pretty simple.
Yeah, there's nothing simple about joy when you can't access it, when you can't get in there and just live it, so the whole idea here that we want to kind of get you guys to connect with is basically connecting the dots, finding out how your joys relate to your mountain, like what is it, the things that you feel are either insurmountable or the thing that you really, really want to achieve that has been eluding you. How is your joy connected to that? How is your joy connected to that? We want you to connect your joy to this mountain.
Well, I don't know if this, if this is what, when I think of a mountain, I had an incident this morning where I'm co-facilitating a group with somebody, and I won't go into details, but this person, I haven't known her very long, and we co-facilitate this group. And I love the group. I love the facilitating. I love the connection. But sometimes my mountain is getting, it seems like the universe keeps sending me certain kinds of people, and I have to, what comes in between me and my joy is this, propensity that I have to get caught up in reactive. I mean, the person is she's very reactive, and she knows she's got PTSD and stuff. And so when things don't go exactly according to the plan, she just kind of calls me and she comes apart and she's like, blah, 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 and I'm like, I know better than to react to that. But I analyzed it today. I thought, why does this constant stuff that keeps coming from her really get under my skin? And I'm letting that dampen my joy of this thing. And I think what I came down with is that I'm letting my reactivity, giving into my reactivity and frustration, because I don't like to deal with people on this level who, for whatever reasons, and I try to be compassionate about it, but this is getting old because it's happening all the time. But I'm just saying, what is it in me that I need to do to be able to meet with people like that? And we all have those, our nemesis, our emotional nemesis that come up. What do I have to do to let something like that or someone like that that's in my life just glance off and go, and not, I don't want to engage in that, because when I engage in that, I get into the negativity and just even if it's just, I need to vent in frustration, it doesn't really help me at all. Is that a mountain? Because this doesn't happen often. 90% of the people I get along fine with, but every once in a while somebody will call, it's the burr under the saddle person. And you're like, damn, I got to get off this horse because I can't ride it with this burr under my saddle.
So my question for you, Gabby, would be, how would you connect your joy to this particular mountain?
Oh, my joy will come when I can remind myself not to let anything like that affect my joy, affect my feeling, affect what I enjoy. I don't need to get, I need to just bless her and let her go on her way and let her do her stuff and just listen and not, which I did that for a while. And now I kind of hit that level of like, not again. And, I know that's for me to fix.
Okay.
But it's, how's a good way to put it? Part of my mountain is to be more able to not isolate myself from people who are just not that person I want to be around.
Okay, so
I'm not sure I'm making any, but
no, that makes a great deal of sense. But what we could do here is kind of rephrase that,
mm-hmm.
and maybe say that you would, like turn it into like something that you want to achieve instead of something that you want to avoid. Because
mm-hmm.
what's happening here is, and this is where we're going to be going next, we're going to be looking at obstacles that get between, your joy and your mountain. Okay, because the three of them are like, they're connected. Okay, so the mountain could be, I really want to be more open to people. I want to be more connected with people and be able to have this flow in these relationships. The obstacle could be this limitation.
Mm-hmm.
Taking on their energy.
Right, taking on the energy, which is very,
that's
very
it.
common with empathic folks.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's perfect, because that's what I'm connecting from. It's not what she says or what she does. It's that in getting in this relationship, I know there's this empathic, energetic connection, and when I get done with getting off with her, I'm like I've gotten hooked. And so I see what you're saying. The positive is I want to be able to stay grounded and empathic, but grounded, and remain in my shielded circle of blessings, that I can still communicate and connect, but I don't have to take on that. And I think you just solved it, because it is the empathic part of me that has let those hooks hook me.
Yeah,
And
I would say probably most of the people in this forum are pretty empathic. I'm kind of really getting that.
Can you all feel my man cold? I got a man cold.
He has been miserable today. Yes, he has definitely descended into the man cold today. But yeah, he's kind of peaked with that. So he's being a little quiet today. But anyways, Gabby, thank you so much for like illustrating where we're going next. So folks, what I would love you to do right now is I want you to focus on what personal obstacles are standing in your way between you and your joy. And that is where you're going to find your mountain. And before we leave this forum today, we want you to write down exactly what your mountain is, so that we can figure out how to help you get there. Okay? Right. So your joy and the obstacles. So right now we're going to focus on what those obstacles are. And I want you to sit with this for a minute, because obstacles, sometimes they come up like, oh yeah, that's what it is. But if you really just sit down with that for a second and just let it go through you, you may find that there's actually like some limitations or something that you're afraid of, you know, maybe a limiting belief that you might have, a false belief, maybe a little bit of anxiety going on about something. So just try to connect yourself to what those obstacles are and see if you can get clear on what that is. I'm just going to give you a minute to sit there with that for a minute. And then we'll talk some more.
And we're not going to sing a little ditty while we're doing that. Okay.
You can. I'm going to actually put some stuff up for you that might be helpful. Figure out how to
get back into that zone.
Okay.
Let's click on Kathy when it comes up.
Put a few things up on the screen for you to, that may be helpful for you to maybe connect to what might be an obstacle standing between you and your joy, the things that really spark your joy. It might be a combination of those things, or more than one. And just fire away, anybody who feels like they're ready to share something. Gabby did a great job of connecting some obstacles to her mountain, to her joy.
Well, I just made myself a list, you know,
Okay.
when, you know, in contemplating and pondering my obstacles. And my list fits into kind of 3 of these categories. Fears, of course, which I talked about a little bit yesterday and am aware of. Limiting beliefs, which might be like the thing. And old patterns and habits, mostly habits. I think in my case, because old patterns are something that I've probably in the last 3 years, I've been really looking at and recognizing. So that's something that's kind of like a work in progress. But some of these other things, like the limiting beliefs, I mean, that and the habits, I think would be my top 2 at this point, of things that could actually be, you know, in between my joy and, you know,
Right. Getting in the way of your joy.
getting in the way of
They might even be related, you know, like old patterns and habits are often related to limiting beliefs. There's connections there.
Yep.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
That's my input.
All right. Who else?
I'll share.
Since I'm doing this from work, I think that time constraints is.
There you go.
And I was planning on leaving early, but then nobody else came in, so.
There you are.
Yeah. Time constraints can be a difficult one to work with,
Yeah.
you know, because we make commitments, we have commitments, survival commitments and commitments to family and friends and other things. But I think you need to find a closer coffee place.
Yeah. And then I think it also is giving up control by letting other people help you.
Hmm.
You know, take some of the burden off you, but you feel like committed to do all these things. That's my work thing, I say. But I did just finally hire someone else and letting her take responsibility for some of the things, but it's going to be a process.
So time constraints. So
Yeah,
that's
That's a big one for you, huh?
been pretty clear.
And maybe even, maybe not so much pushback from family, but maybe others, maybe colleagues or you
Yeah,
know, employers, people that you work for.
yeah. They're happy if you're doing, you know, it's like you do something, then it's your job. So,
Exactly.
you know, and you take on more and more until you come to a place where you just can't, you know.
Yeah. The more you do, the more you do.
Exactly.
Who else?
I think physical limitations have kind of jumped and hit me, and I really think that's kind of crazy because I really don't have any serious physical limitations other than some pain in my knee. But I was out on the bike yesterday, coming up a big hill, and it's like the weight I've gained in the last 6 months. I'm like, God, I wish I didn't have this belly, because when I'm trying to pedal, my belly, I'm short-waisted and my belly pushes up and into my diaphragm. And my husband today said, do you want to take the bikes to the gym? And I'm like, no, I want to walk, you know. And I realized that I need to be realistic, that I've got to do all these other things. And then that physical limitation will eventually drop back. But yeah, it was like, damn, how did I was like, how did I let myself gain this much weight? And I started kind of down that limiting belief of, you know, oh, at my age, it's going to be even harder to lose it again, yada, 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 yada. And then the old patterns and habits are, oh, I want to eat food for comfort. I want to eat comfort food and become a couch potato. So I don't have to think about it. Calgon, Netflix, take
Funny
me
how
away.
that works.
Yeah.
We can relate to that one.
Yeah.
Erica, what's going on?
Well, this was really interesting. 5 minutes ago, you know, when you posed the question, I didn't know what my answer was going to be, and then I'm just amazed the process I just went through. I kind of blew myself away. I
Right.
started by thinking about obstacles, and the three that came to mind were time, energy, and organization. And then I looked at those three and said, okay, what about those things are there obstacles? And then I wrote down next to time that it goes by too fast and I don't feel like I have enough of it. And for energy, I have some physical limitations because of my weight. And then I put a little arrow next to that and said that that creates frustration. I feel frustrated with myself when I get up and try to do something and I got to sit down in a couple of minutes. And then next to organization, I know that I need to organize my time better. I need to organize my resources better. I need to organize my house. My house is a mess, and by it not being functional, I can't use my space in the right way. And then all of a sudden the light bulb went off and I realized all of those things together are creating anxiety in me. And that's my mountain.
Wow. Wow. You just did it.
You
I just did that in 5 minutes and I'm like, what?
Yes. So
Wow.
that's
It was pretty
exactly
cool.
where we're taking you people. It's exactly what we want you to do. Thank you for illustrating this. This is fantastic. So you identified your obstacles and how they are interfering with your joy. That's your mountain. That is your mountain. Right? So you just narrowed it down. Thank you. So I want you to write that down in like 1 to 3 clear sentences. This is my mountain. Boom. Just nail it. Yeah, make sure you write it. This is very, very important, all of you. And I want to hear too from Laura. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Here. So I had written down old patterns, resistance, and then as I thought deeper, I was like, not accepting hearing what my body wants and needs, and impatience with my body, and like the body screaming at me for setting goals that are maybe too ambitious. And I realized that part of my mountain is pacing myself and being authentic with where I am at each step of the way, because it's almost like I needed to change my feedback process to be supportive rather than critical. And sort of became clear to me as we were going through this process. So thank you all.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
great.
Do you feel like you can write down like 1 to 3 clear sentences about what you think your mountain is now? Having examined the obstacles and your joy.
Yeah.
It's like right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the middle. This is what you got to climb.
Cool. Kathy, I see that pen up there.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's a lot of good stuff. I just, you know, with the time constraints, you don't have time to think about what's wrong.
Right.
You know, I keep busy all the time.
That's what's good about having a forum like this is that,
It's awesome. Yeah.
you know, to have someone just organize it so that you can like get there quickly. Otherwise, it's like we all get in our own way, you know?
Yeah, we have our habits of thinking.
Yeah. You more just try to meditate so you don't in pain or that you calm yourself or those things rather than moving beyond that.
Yep. We're going to be looking this week at a very important component of getting to your mountain, and that's going to be self-care. And so, you know, we're definitely going to be taking you in that direction very soon. Tomorrow, we're excited too. Tomorrow is going to be another one of those days of like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, but I never thought of it that way. We get some cool tools for you tomorrow. Would anyone like to share their mountain? Like, whoever has it written down that's just clear as bell, who wants to share that with us right now? Hush fell over the pool.
I'll go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. What I had written down, well, it's not that, I guess it's what more and better mobility and confidence. I want to kind of recreate my marriage self within the marriage and rebirth my step-parent self, rebirth my work and business self, and rebirth my diet and exercise self. And then last, rebirth my self-care self. And I'm sort of feeling like this is a jump start for all of it. And I think it's, for me right now, it's important for me to say the 3 sentences that I came up with is set goals and pace myself, listen to my body, and support myself wisely along the way in climbing my mountain. I guess I have several mountains, but I just feel really focused on it now.
Okay. That's good. I would like to see that be condensed down a little bit, maybe boil it down some to get right to the part of like, how are these things related? How are these things?
Well, they're all recreating.
They're what?
They're all sort of recreating how I care for myself in doing all these things in my life.
All right. So
It's all about self-care.
There's a big self-care piece in there.
Yeah.
There's a big
That's
self-care.
the base of the mountain.
Yeah. And it sounds to me like you have identified why it is important for you to have self-care.
Yeah.
So at some point, we want that mountain to look more like a goal, like something that's like tangible. Like I want to do blah by blah. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I can tone it down. Okay.
Yeah. See if you can work on that a little bit, Laura. I know you came in, today, and I know you're going to be with us tomorrow. But the clearer you can get on that, the easier it is going to be to see some measurable results and move forward. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah. If I had to condense it down, I would want to be more fit and active everyday life.
All right. You think on that, and we're gonna check in with you again tomorrow on that one, okay?
Okay.
Sounds good. Anybody else?
I keep coming up with things like, or maybe you can help me just condense this, tendency to give into avoidant behavior, a tendency to give in and get distracted, all of which I know the core of that is that fear of failure, I don't know, just not jumping off and getting in there and getting it done, because I think I have this story that I've told myself, which is I've worked really hard all my life and blah, blah, blah. And I had things happen. And now it just feels so much better to give into just the momentary, but I want to eat that, or I want to do that, or I just want to just do this other thing. And it's not even a story of telling myself I deserve it. It's because I do deserve to have, quality time to do whatever. So I don't know. It's a common theme, is just to jump in and get, my mother used to say this about me, and God help me, I had to think of things she was right about, but it is one of them. She said, once you get started, you are great. You get in there, you get stuff done, and I'm like a whirlwind. My husband used to call me the Tasmanian devil, because I would just like get in and do stuff. But that moment of getting the inertia up to get started, when you were saying, Selena, you were being manic today, I'm like, oh my God, I need a day like that every once in a while, a lot. And it just seems, and it's not for any, plausible reason that I'm unhealthy or don't have the energy. I just flat will flit around and distract and I know I'm doing it. So I'm just like, I need to just sit my butt down and get this going. And
Well,
that
there's
looks like a mountain, because that's a common thing that happened in the 9 months I've been off, where my time is my own. Unlike you, Kathy, I quit the day job, and it's like, what's my excuse?
So, all right, so you're beating up on yourself now, Gabby. You know that, right?
Well, I'm just saying, I guess my mountain is to remain self-motivated. And I mean, the spirit is willing, but the body just goes, well, I'll go over there and do this other thing. And then you'll do that later, you know.
So then there's some obstacles getting in the way of your joy. Once your obstacles and your joy are clear, then you will know what your mountain is. And this is what we're trying to get to, is like this very succinct, very clear thing that you want to get to this year. Something that sparks your joy and is crap in the way.
Making my living doing the thing, storytelling activities, which is a lot of it that I want to do. I love that.
That's a fantastic mountain.
Just
right?
like, yeah.
It's a fantastic mountain.
And see how distracted you were getting there?
Yes.
We grip on ourselves, people. It's common. So get clear on your mountain. Write it down, Gabby. Okay, make it super clear. I know you're a writer. Like 1 to 3 really clear sentences should cover it.
And we also know you're on it too.
Yes.
Yeah, I am a lot more than I was a month ago. I'll tell you, I'm getting there. Okay, so I'm going to put that down.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Who wants to share their mountain? Who's ready to do that? Erica, Kathy, Selena?
I got my mountain.
You do?
I do.
Let's hear it.
Decluttering my home.
Beautiful.
I need to do that this year, and that is going to make a huge difference in all these other things by simplifying my life and living more efficiently in a decluttered home. That's going to help me find more time and reduce, the amount of effort that I have to put into other things, because I'll be free. I'll be free of these things that hang over my head or that I wake up to every day and look at, immediately getting this feeling of dread or, like I got to deal with that still. It's going to free me up in so many ways, and not just the personal space, but also the emotional space.
Right. Oh, yeah. So.
Yeah, it's a feng shui concept.
Yeah, feng shui concept. And the Japanese were, well, they were really good at it, But those,
and that's tangible and measurable.
We all know Marie Kondo. Yeah.
That's great. All right, write it down. How about you, Kathy?
Well, I guess when you guys were talking, the self-care component is probably my biggest obstacle. And I've been wanting to go to like a 4-day work week to free up time. So then you have, anyways, but I guess then you can clean your house. No, organize things and move forward with what you want to do. The creativity, I like to paint and stuff, but I put it aside because watching grandchildren and working full time and a single person. So all the things that come with owning a house, and there's always something to keep you busy, but not to make you happy.
That's right.
I do things. I do things that are happy, that make me happy. Dancing and music, and not making music, listening to some people's music.
Like maybe Saturday.
Like maybe Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah. See you then.
So how would you nail your mountain in 1 sentence? Could you do that?
I guess I speak up for myself and try to find ways that I can not leave my job stranded, but that would work better for me. Whether it's working at home, having more flexible schedule. So, they do it like, say about this man-woman thing, but I work in a business that's all men, except for the women in the office, and you know, I'm the only salaried person that's stuck at a desk from,
Oh.
Salary
and-
trap.
Yeah.
yeah. And my boss recently now, you know, said to me, oh, I expect my salary people to come in early and, you know, be there when, but, you know, I'm running the business side. It just never, ever stops. So, you know, you could work, you know, 60 hours a week and it still wouldn't be. And I just said, hey, I'm on another, you know, I'm at the other end where I want to slow down, I'm not ramping up, you know. And I said, I'm doing you a favor by staying here and trying to have a smooth transition out the door. But it's hard to just, like Erica was just speaking about going from working full time to not, you know, to being at home. It's not the financial aspect. It's the, what do I do with my life, you know, like now?
Right.
And it's the fear that you know, that you're going to sit home and make, you know, Netflix and overeating a prior, you know, your patent.
Pain.
You know, so here I am, and I'm trying to find the courage and the support, you know, from like-minded people that
Right.
want to experience everything and live a full life. So that's
So
my,
you might consider crafting your mountain around the idea of having stronger boundaries.
yeah, that word has come up several times this week.
So I want you to think about that. And when we get together tomorrow, I want you to have like 1 to 3 clear sentences. I want you to nail your mountain.
So, and like specific things, like I am going to cut my work week to 35 hours, or I am gonna, you
I'm
know,
going to say no more often.
right?
I'm going to say no more than I say yes. Things like that. And there's a lot of fear in there. These are your obstacles, Kathy. But in reality, your joy is your joy, and you deserve to have it. And only one person can help you get there. And so what is that mountain? And then once you make that clear, then it's going to be easier to take steps toward achieving that.
because you always look at how your changes affect other people, and
Always.
you know, and that's, you know, emphatic. You know, people depend on whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If I may
But
say,
I listen to your music. If you died today, that it would get done, right? So I sing it. So
Right.
anyway, okay. I'm not sure. I have an accounting meeting tomorrow, so I might have to listen in. So, you know,
Got it.
address these subjects tomorrow.
Okay. We'll talk anyways. I'll
Yes.
probably see you soon.
Great. All right, thank you.
Selena, you had something to say.
yeah, I just wanted to say, Kathy, listening to you today, especially, and talking about time, and also it's come up 2 or 3 times, and I understand this, is just why I moved in on it, that you feel pressured to do many things yourself because you know you can do them and you're good at it. And you also, I feel, have said that you feel obligated to other people to help them, to be present for them, and that sort of thing. And both of those things, I think, can really severely impact on your time. So I just wanted to kind of suggest that maybe that's an obstacle for you, is
Definitely.
that you feel obligated to others, your employer, your family.
Yeah, we
definitely.
talked a little bit about some of that yesterday, that, you know, women tend to take on the world and, you know, and see to others' needs before their own.
I think we should all have costumes. Superhero
Activism. So we're coming close to the end of our session. And there's a couple folks that, like Selena, you haven't said what your mountain is. Do you want to share that today?
No, I'm in process.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got 1,000 things here, and I just, you know, a bunch of molecules flying around, and they haven't put into vapor yet.
All right, good. So what I'm hearing is a lot of stuff. I'm hearing a lot of obstacles. These are pretty clear to identify. Your joys are pretty clear and how they have been identified. And remember that somewhere in the middle there between the joy and the obstacles is what your mountain is. Choose something. Choose something that really means the most to you this year, and we're gonna just like go after it, okay? But make it clear and succinct. Write it down, and if it's a bunch of different things, condense it and boil it down so that you're really getting clear on what your mountain is. One mountain. All right. Find the common denominators between these obstacles and your joy, and try to nail what that is. And it might just it might come to you at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's like, I know what my mountain is. Get up and write it down, people. You know. It's important. It's important. If you're going to climb a mountain, you got to know which one you're climbing.
Yeah.
Right?
This is starting to gel for me, so we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Does anyone have any questions or final words that they'd like to share before we sign off for the day? Funny jokes? So tomorrow we are going to be looking at the internal garden, and that is going to be the theme of tomorrow's session. And I'm really excited about this one. So I really hope that you all get to show up, and we're going to do some more work, and I'm going to probably have a homework assignment for you. I'm a teacher after all, but it won't be like super deep or hard to do. It's just going to be like kind of get you thinking about some stuff. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, thank you all for letting me hang out with you too.
Wish him luck. He's getting over his man cold.
Yeah, I'm gonna go turn on the TV, watch cartoons, and moan.
Yeah.
He's telling the truth.
Bye, guys.
There are times that's exactly what you need to do.
Right. So we will send out this video, like I sent yesterday's video in an email. Did you all get the links and the trackers? I mean, they're on the group page as well, the Facebook group. But I put them in email, so you have that. And I will do this again for tomorrow. We'll send out a link to today's video and some other things that may be of interest for either prepping for tomorrow or, maybe nothing.
Great, great.
We got that recorded.
Okay.
Oops, sorry about that. I didn't mean to
Ladies
share
are
that
wonderful.
screen
Thank
again.
you.
And
Everyone.
I just have a quick question.
Okay.
Lisa. I'm gonna leave the meeting and jump back in. I'm just wanting to see. This video thing is like a hit and miss. It works some of the time, it doesn't. To see if there's anything that made a difference.
All right, we'll stay on and wait for you to do that.
We'll stay.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be right back.
Bye,
So
guys.
you folks can sign off, and we will see you tomorrow.
Adios.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Get something in chat.
That's what I just sent to Kathy.
Oh. Got it. So we're just waiting for Gabby to come back in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just gonna join back up
Mhm.
and see how it works.
I think that went fairly well. I was
Yeah.
a little stiff at first, I think. I still did it. I think we got him there. It's pretty organic.
Stop recording.